everybody, welcome back to my CD collection. This is the 4th volume of this, as I show you my music and then you tell me if I'm missing some stuff that you really like. I've actually really enjoyed your recommendations and picked up a lot of great stuff thanks to you guys. I'm also going to give out this CD, which I said last time that I'd give out, to one of you random commenters who said that they wanted it, and randomly I picked Kyle Stasiak. So Kyle Stasiak, this is for you, my friend. I hope that you enjoy it more than I enjoyed it. I don't know. I listened to it once and it was fine. But now you get it. Also, I think someone had sent me a nice message saying, "Hey, can I send you a mix CD?" Which I thought was really cool. And I didn't have a P.O. box, so I went and got a P.O. box just in case if you want to send anything, a letter or mix CD or something. If you think there's something I need to hear, I'd love to hear it. So in the description below is my new P.O. box. Say hello to Jeannie, the hot chick running the camera this time. This is Jeannie.
Hey guys.
She's back again. I know that you enjoy when there's a hot chick running the camera, so there she is. We're going to start where we left off with the M's. I think last time I left off after Joni Mitchell, so now we got Mood Elevator. And Jeannie, I think this is a band that you'd like very much.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's an album called Married Alive. I think you'd really dig this. So I think you should.
What is it?
What do you do? Wait a minute. You guys have... I'm just confused. I'm going to show you guys something. You guys need to see this. Check that out. What are you doing over there?
What?
What? Okay. That's weird. Why don't you go back behind the camera, because two of you confuses me.
Alright.
Okay. Anyway, this is a band with... this is Brendan Benson's other band besides the Raconteurs. He doesn't sing. He doesn't sing in this band. He just plays in it. It's Chris Plum. Is the guy who sings. Awesome, upbeat rock and roll stuff. Mood Elevator, ladies and gentlemen. What else have I got? Then a little Sam Moore of Sam and Dave, his solo album, because I love soul. Lots of Van Morrison, because Van Morrison is the best. And if you don't know who the hell Van Morrison is, you don't know where to start, I would highly recommend that you start with Moondance. Yes, I would. My wife's going to check out something on the computer while we do this. Okay, so let's see what else we got. In the M's, I'm gonna move down here because, and speaking of move, The Move. Is that good, The Move? It's one of Jeff Lynne's early bands, The Move. Moxie Frubus, they're fun. My formative years in the 80s left me with things like The Fix and Naked Eyes and Thomas Dolby, so I have Naked Eyes. Have a little Graham Nash, because I love Crosby, Stills, and Nash. His album, Songs for Beginners, is a really nice album. Let's see. New Pornographers is a great band. I think Twin Cinema might be my favorite of theirs. I got some Randy Newman. I've got some Nickel Creek. Lots of Harry Nilsson. I'm a big, big fan of Harry Nilsson. The Point is one of my favorite Nilsson albums, and so is Harry. And Aerial Ballet is amazing. Harry Nilsson's a great singer-songwriter from the early 70s. Jim Noir, this is a guy who I learned about from Aaron of Blame Society Films. He is, I believe he's English, and he's one of these guys, kind of like Todd Rundgren, has a home studio, writes and performs everything in his own home, and my God, great stuff. Great stuff, Jim Noir. As far as I know, he's released 2 CDs, and they're both incredible. I got some Joan Osborne. I've got Owsley. Owsley was a pretty awesome rockin' singer-songwriter, and he killed himself this year. That sucks, doesn't it, Jeannie? This is one of these albums that you should just have, because it's just great music, and also you can probably pick it up really cheap, because no one ever really heard of him. Some people did. Maybe you did. I'm just rambling now. Papas Fritas, that's a good album. I think Buildings and Grounds is a really good Papas Fritas album. Pascal, that's a band nobody's really heard of, but I like them. Michael Penn, Sean Penn's brother, Amy Mann's husband. He's great, and I love all of his stuff, but I'd probably have to pick Resigned or Re-Signed. It could be either, but that's a pretty great album. Tom Petty, I got a lot of Tom Petty. I love Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, but my favorite is actually one of his solo albums, Wildflowers. It's nice. Glenn Phillips was the lead singer of Toad the Wet Sprocket, and I love his album, Albulum. Abulum? It's pronounced Abulum. It's a really good album. You should listen to that. It's good stuff. Let's see. Fish. Now, some of you had said, do you have Fish? I'm not crazy about Fish. I really like A Picture of Nectar, though. That's a good album. I ended up kind of compiling the several Fish CDs that I had onto one disc, and I really like that. Okay, you guys had asked about Pink Floyd. Yes, of course I have Pink Floyd. These are my two favorites, although I also really love Animals and The Wall, but I never listen to The Wall. You got to be in the right mood for The Wall. But yeah, Wish You Were Here and Dark Side of the Moon are pretty perfect albums. The Police, one of my favorite all-time bands, especially their early stuff. I got the thumbs up from Jeannie. What's your favorite Police album?
Oh, I couldn't say.
Okay, so Jeannie likes the Police. That's good.
It's also the only band I pretty much heard of.
Of all of these? Yeah,
So-
I got a lot of stuff that people... Have you ever heard of this guy? His name is Elvis. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No.
No, yeah.
No.
Oh, you're young. The Pretenders. Early Pretenders. Great stuff. Here's an album by a guy who used to be in the Grays. A lot of you might have known who the Grays are with John Bryan and Jason Faulkner. Two of my favorites. This is Buddy Judge's solo album, Profiles and Clownhenge, which I don't know if he ever sold besides at his shows. I went and saw him play with Amy Mann one time, and he was selling these, and that's really good stuff. One of the greatest albums of the 70s right here, City to City by Jerry Rafferty. It's just a great 70s album. Bonnie Raitt, lots of Bonnie Raitt. Her early stuff just kind of kills me the most. I love her really early stuff from the early 70s. She's great.
Those are some great album covers.
Yeah, she was an interesting lady. Lou Rawls, Natural Man is a great soul song. And then speaking of soul, who do we have here? We have lots and lots of Otis Redding. Oh, Otis Redding. He was a love man. He also had one of the greatest voices of all time. You know him from Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, but he's so much more than that. He was a good-looking woman. That's another thing I really liked about Otis Redding. Just a really good-looking woman. If you don't have any Otis Redding, I think that you need some. I have everything by him. Okay, here's a guy that I absolutely love. Emmett Rhodes. Anybody know Emmett Rhodes? It's kind of a sad story. Emmett Rhodes. He was a really talented, performing in his own mother's garage type of guy, multi-tracking himself, very early McCartney type of stuff. Great songwriter. Recorded one album, got a recording contract, but then he had another album due like 6 months or a year later, and he just didn't have time, and so I think the quality fell, and then he just disappeared after 3 albums, I think. That's just such a shame, but he was great. Here's a guy who was in the Rolling Stones. You heard of them? The band, the Rolling Stones? He's the one who's not Mick Jagger. Keith Richards, Talk is Cheap. Amazing album. Yes, I said it. It's an amazing album. Let's see. Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. Yes, I do love Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. Not that he's a good singer, or even that the songs are good songs. It's just fun stuff. The Roaches. Okay, it's 3 sisters with the last name Roach, and they sing harmonies, and they're quirky, and they're funny, and weird, and the Roaches are great. Let's see, a lot more, and then of course the Rolling Stones. I mean, my favorite Stones album is Sticky Fingers. I love this one, but I also really love, Exile on Main Street is great. Some Girls, I honestly love them all. And then I mentioned Todd Rundgren because I have a lot of Todd Rundgren. Something Anything is probably my favorite. Again, I have a lot of respect for these guys who just have a home studio and play everything. And he was a member of the band Utopia. I guess he started the band, maybe. I don't know. But strangely, my favorite Utopia album is this weird one from the 80s. It's very sort of poppy and 80s and great songs. More soul, ladies and gentlemen. Sam and Dave. I got lots of Sam and Dave. They're right up there with Otis Redding. Great stuff. I'm going to skip a few because we just got a lot of stuff here. But I won't skip Ron Sexsmith because Ron Sexsmith is awesome. He's a Canadian singer-songwriter. He's got a very lazy, sort of lilting voice. Writes beautiful songs, great harmonies, and it's beautiful stuff. Love his stuff. He was one of those guys who I didn't like his voice the first time I heard him. But then it really grew on me. Kind of like Tom Waits. Didn't like him the first time, but now I just absolutely love him. Martin Sexton. Another singer-songwriter no one's heard of, who is awesome. I say no one's heard of. There's going to be at least a dozen people here who've heard of Martin Sexton. Where's he from? Chicago? Somebody tell me where he's from. He used to apparently be a busker, a street musician.
Look at those sideburns.
Yeah, he's got some serious sideburns. His stuff's great. Very, very powerful songs and an amazing voice. Little Jules Shear, The Shins, oh, Inverted World. I like that. I got some Jane Siberry. I think she's Canadian also. I got some Carly Simon and Paul Simon, because you got to have people from the 60s, 70s. I actually love Paul Simon. I have the box set of all of his CDs, and my favorite Paul Simon album, if you just want a really great Paul Simon album, I love his first album from, I think, 1970. Oh, God, this is so good. This is good music, in my opinion. Then, of course, Simon and Garfunkel. Everything by him. Amazing. This is bringing us to the end of this row. We've got Simon and Garfunkel and a couple other random people. We've got some Elliott Smith. I'm big into Elliott Smith. XO, I think, is my favorite of his albums. And some Soul Coughing. Dodie's band, Soul Coughing, who are really great. I think El Oso is an excellent album by them. And then a tiny bit more of soul here at the end with the Spinners. I think an early album by the Spinners, which is good stuff. And that brings us to the end of that row. That's a lot of stuff. So that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got some interesting tips. And if I missed something that you love, then let me know. Chances are I may have it in my iTunes, because I got a lot of stuff digitally that's not on CD, especially newer stuff. But I'm always up for hearing what you guys recommend. And you guys recommend stuff, and then I Google it and listen to it online. And if I like it, I buy it. So thank you for all the recommendations. Jeannie, thanks for having both of you be here to help out. You want to say goodbye to the people?
Bye.
See you guys later. Bye-bye.